Hello everyone and welcome to my module on managing human resource or human resource management. Before I go deep down in my next topic, let me give you a brief introduction of as to what we did in the last lecture. In the last lecture, I spoke about something related with team building, or what is the meaning of a team, or what are the different stages which are involved in the team building. So we all discussed something related with the forming, storming, norming, performing and adjourning of the team. Now, if we talk about the teams, they can be different kind of teams that I will be discussing today. As you can see on the screen also that what topic I will be picking up is basically the 12 C's of team building. But before I go deep down into that, let me give you a brief introduction of something. We know that in case if any organization, there are certain symptoms as to we can actually identify that the team is not working properly. So what can be these symptoms be? For example, if the productivity is going down, there's less of profitability, or there is lack of communication, the culture hit, a lot of cases in absenteeism, or increase in the rate of turnover, or lesser participation, or the peace is not maintained, or the democracy is not being maintained. So these are few symptoms that we can identify, and we can come to know that there is something wrong somewhere which needs an immediate correction. So ideally, if we are the HR managers, or in case if we are just the managers of the company, what are the 12 desirable C's to have that kind of team building? And we know that what is the effect of team building. Of course, we would be having the effect on the production, on the people, and on the entire structure. In order to attain that goals that have been preset, or the shared goals of the company, it is very essential that the teams, they have to be cohesive to one. So how do we receive that cohesive teams is what is more important. So what I have done is that I have classified the 12 C's of team building, and if we take into cognizance all 12 C's, naturally we will be having a very productive team which will definitely help us in boosting the performance of the company, the profitability and the productivity also. So let's go and check out 12 C's. Before going into the 12 C's, let me give you the gist of the different kind of teams. So you know that teams is nothing but it's just a group of people who come together to attain the objective of the company, and the main purpose of the team building is to have the cohesive group. So as you can see on the screen also, they can be different kind of teams in an organization. So these teams can be the management teams, they can be the operational teams, they can be self-directed teams, troubleshooting teams. So whichever team it is, the main purpose of any team is that they are able to work in a cohesive manner, attain the goals of the company, and ensure that the company goes on to the next level. So as far as this management team is concerned, is like all the departmental heads who are responsible for managing the whole business is called the management team. So what we can say, in an organization we have got 3 levels. So at basically the management, these are the top level people who will actually be making out or rolling out the policies and the strategies. The second level people, they will be the one who would be responsible in implementing the things, and the last level is the people who will be doing the actual work. So these management teams can be the operational teams or the people who are managing the business. Then the operational teams is the overall the functioning people who are taking care of the overall functioning of the organization, and they are the ones they would be taking out actions for the bottlenecks. Then the self-directed team, they are not led by any leader or manager, but definitely they themselves are so directed that they control and manage everything. Troubleshooting teams, these teams comprising of people with analytical thinking and problem solving. So troubleshooting will basically come when there are problems. So for example, if there is a technical company which is working, maybe any company, for example, so if there are maybe some technical glitches, so there is a troubleshooting team that will help us to correct those bugs, and so that if those problems they are sorted out, then again the problem will not be there, and they can be smooth operations also. Then at times they can be virtual teams. For example, they can be people who can be getting connected with different time zones from different countries. They can also offer their expertise, their knowledge, and of course their skills in the troubleshooting, or they can give their ideas, views, suggestion, feedback or suggestions, anything, whatever the case is. So definitely this is the type of a team which is connected through technology. Then we can also have something known as the special purpose team. It is formed to fulfill a specific project or purpose. After completion of the task, the team is disintegrated. So what we discussed in the previous lecture related with the stages, that can be converted, can be a special purpose team for which the team has come together for a specific task, and as soon as that task is over, that then they can be dismantling of the team. Then the project team, they can be on a special project, one which is built to efficiently execute a given project on time. It can be related with anything, it can be related to railway, it can be related with software building or any other thing. So these are basically the different types of teams which we talk about. Now, as you can see on the screen also, that there are different factors that actually hinder good performance or good working relationship. So a team is all about communication, team is all about people only, right? So we can say that which are the factors which help us to have a good team, or in other words, which are the factors that hinder good working relationship. For example, lack of understanding, lack of concern, or disregard for the feeling of others. So if these things are there, so definitely it will be affecting what? My dear friends, it will all be affecting, there's a word which is known as cohesiveness. If you remember, it is all going to affect the cohesiveness of the team, which is important in the team building, or maybe the poor communication or the negative and destructive criticism. If you remember in the previous lecture, I talked something about the constructive feedback, or at times if there's a negative feedback, it has to be discussed in private, so that no one feels offended. No involvement in the administrative decisions, lack of leadership, oversensitivity, lack of privacy, disregard for talent of others. This is very important. That means we are not able to leverage the skills of the people who are a part of the company. So ideally, the main purpose is that we are able to take the best from the people who have joined our company, or we are trying to leverage the skills. But at times there may be few people who have that kind of disregard for the talent of others, and they only feel that I, me and myself is what is going to take the company to the next step. But this is not the case. Then no job descriptions. So in any organization, if there are no job descriptions, of course the role clarity will be not there. Role clarity is important for the effective execution of the work. No opportunities for staff meeting, gossip, rumors. So if you see all these things, they are all negative aspects, right? So none of us can say that all these things they are positive. This is something which the company is lacking, and as the HR department or the company, it should ideally identify the areas, and effort should be taken to overcome them. Then putting off decision making, inequality or inequities in facilities and supplies. Here this third point is basically it's all related with the favoritism. So whenever there is a favoritism or people are not fair to each other, naturally it is going to hinder the good working relationship. And whenever these factors are affecting the good working relationship, we cannot have an effective team. And unless we do not have the effective team, we will not be able to attain what we are intending to do that. Then disloyalty to staff and organization, that means you are cheating, or there are conditions like of indiscipline, misappropriation of funds, falsification. You are being disloyal to the people. No evaluation feedback from the supervisors. This will definitely not be able to make out the difference between the efficient and inefficient people. Holding a grudge, poor job attitudes, uneven workload, somebody is given too much of load, somebody is given less of the load. So then actually these are the things will definitely hit the psychological satisfaction of an individual, and whenever the psychological satisfaction of an individual is hit, so definitely it is not going to give us the positive impact. Lack of confidence in fellow workers, prejudice, racism, sexism. So these are the words which actually we can feel that somewhere or the other there is lot of negativity which is involved in the organization. And in case if on the reverse side, if we think of the positive one, for example, people start understanding each other, they are regarding the feeling of others, there is a proper communication, there is a willingness to compromise, or there is proper effective leadership, and there is a regard for talent for others, or maybe attitude towards the work is very, very positive. People are not holding grudges, there is no disloyalty, everyone is loyal to each other, and everyone's efforts, they are being recognized also, rewarded also, appreciated also, lot of trust, lot of happiness, lot of positivity. So from these words only we can make out that okay, there is lot of positivity which is involved in the company. and definitely we can have a good working environment. And once we have a good working environment, it will eventually help us to have a good organizational culture where we can have a very effective teams working for the attainment of the shared goals. We know that performance and rewards, they are all interconnected with each other. So it's like there can be some kind of base rewards, there can be some incentives, and of course there can be some kind of team based awards that can be there. So only then people are there, and this rewards, they play a very important role in making the people happy and motivated. So why am I talking about these performance and rewards here? Because as a team also, it is very essential to recognize the small contributions that have been made by each team member, so as to increase the motivation level of individual and the morale of the entire team or group. At times what happens is, like as I told you, that there can be some kind of symptoms that can be noticed where there can be some signs of poor team building. For example, there can be some kind of communication issues, lack of trust, or lack of accountability. At times the work environment is not good enough, people are not working, the work ethics are very bad, there is a disagreement, or there is indiscipline, or there can be some kind of non-collaborative behavior, the ones which we actually discussed in the previous slides. So naturally it's very essential that we should understand what are the ways by which we can boost up the team building. And team building, as I told you, that is just the process of building a very cohesive team, which will help us to attain the shared goals. So as you can see on the screen also, all 12 C's, it's all related with clear expectation, context, control, cultural change, commitment, competence, charter, collaboration, communication, creative innovation, consequences, and coordination. So let's take each one of them at length. The first one is the clear expectation. Now when we are talking about this clear expectation, it says that all the team members, they should have the clear expectations. Now clear expectations of what? So it can be related with their role, it can be related with their policies, it can be related with the procedures, it can be related with any other thing. So if people are very clear about it, about their role clarity, about the policies, about the work culture, work environment, about the communication part, so definitely the people, they would be performing as it is expected out of them. And it says that in the case of clear expectation, we know that what we are actually expecting from the team in terms of performance, that has to be clearly communicated. For example, if I say that okay, the company has to attain the target of 5 lakh rupees per month, so this is the clear expectation that okay, the company has said that okay, we are willing to have 5 lakh rupees as a target. So this is the clear expectation that has been put down to the members. So when people are clear about the expectation, when the role clarity is there, so naturally here what we can say, the accountability automatically comes in. So people, they should understand why the team has been made, what are the roles, what are the rules, what the communication, and why they have been brought together, and what kind of accountability the company is actually expecting from them. The second is the context. It's like it says that there should be some questions that the team should be able to answer. For example, what does this team fit to the scheme of the things, or what are the mission and vision of the organization? So there has to be a perfect alignment. Now when we talk about the alignment, my friends, it's basically said that the individual goals, they should not clash with the organizational goals, or individual goals, they should not be tangent to the organizational goals. So the context is all related with that the person should be very clear in terms of the mission, vision of the company, the goals that they are chasing, and the specific tasks that have been allotted to them. If you remember in our previous video, I talked about the goals also. I talked about that these goals, they have to be smart enough, and the tasks that have been entrusted to people, it should be such that the right kind of task is being given to the right set of people. So one of the very important C in the 12 C's of team building is that there should be the context, or the alignment should be very clear, and people, they should be clear why they have been chosen to be the part of the team. The reasons could be because of their specific KSA, that is that they have the required knowledge, they have that kind of skill, they have that kind of attitude, they have that kind of ability, whatever you want you can call it. So they should understand, why am I part of the team? Because the main purpose of any team is to leverage each other's strength and the weaknesses. So if somebody is good at something, so naturally the organization will be taking the best use of it for the purpose of the attainment of the goals. Another C that you can see on the screen is all about the control. Like, the team has to have the power and freedom to accomplish its charter. Is the team being empowered? Does the team understand its boundaries? How far are team members allowed to go to pursue the various solutions along the way? Define monetary and time resources at the beginning of the project. Each member must understand their accountability. Now, control is all related with is the kind of the power that one actually exercises, or the kind of empowerment that one can have. When people they start working on the various C's, the team has to understand what are the limits within which the team has to work. It can be in terms of resources. So what kind of resources the team has? It can be in terms of 5 M's. This can be men, methods, material, market, machinery, etc. So the team should be very, very clear what kind of resources they will be using, or to what an extent they have the control over them, or what are the boundaries, which are the boundaries within which they are supposed to work, whether they have some kind of flexibility, whether they have the power to do the things on their own, to carry out the things the way they want to do it. So these C's are important. And in the case of control also, what we can talk about, my dear friends, it can also be related with the 4 P's also. So these 4 P's is all related with purpose, people, process and performances, right? So what kind of control do they have on the target of the company? What kind of control do they have on the people who are going to work? What kind of control they are going to have in terms of process? And of course, all those things they would be reflecting in terms of performances. So that was the C of team building, that is control. Another C that you can see on the screen is all related with the cultural change. We all know that in an organization there are different set of people who are working, and there is always a word which is known as diversity. We call it as DEI, that is diversity, equality and inclusiveness. So we feel that everyone who is coming from the different background, they all should be a part of our team, and it's all the collaborative efforts. The team has been formed for the purpose of the attainment of the goal, and we are all aiming at the most cohesive team. So the organization must change its culture by changing how it rewards the employees, appraise them, develops plan for them, so on and so forth. So even if in an organization people coming from different diversity or different levels, they have to be motivated to the best possible way. The next C is that you can see on the screen is the level of commitment. Commitment is like how you feel that what kind of loyalty one is expecting from the people. So it's very essential that people, they should feel the part of the team as a part of the entire structure, and then these principles, they have to be very clear in the mind of the people, that what kind of commitment is actually being expected by the company from them, and they should feel challenged by the opportunities that they have, and people, they should feel that they have the sense of responsibility towards the all the objectives. So naturally commitment level has to be very, very high, and this high commitment level, if you all remember, was very high at the time of the norming stage also. So here the commitment is definitely, it will come from the employees also, and people, they know that if they are performers, they are expecting some kind of R&R, rewards and recognition. So they are receiving ample appreciation for whatever the work they do. Another C relating to the team building is the competence. Competence basically is all related with the kind of talent that one has, and it believes that the right person should be there at the right place. We should have those team members in the team which who can actually contribute in the best possible manner, rather than creating any hindrances. And this competence is again reflecting that whether the team has the required skills or no. So naturally, if people are not competent enough, they will not be able to perform, and if they are not able to perform, so naturally our purpose of getting them into the teams will get defeated. Then it talks about the charter. The team should take on the responsibility and develop its own vision and strategies of accomplishing the goal. Every team should be given some kind of freedom in terms of making the decision of the goals that they can actually achieve, and they know that how those milestones have been achieved, or which are the forthcoming benchmarks that they have to actually cross over. So here the charter is basically the everyone should adhere to the charter that has been actually drafted out, and everyone's effort should be guided towards the attainment of the benchmarks or the milestones, and they should also know that at any point of time if they are getting setbacks or bottlenecks or hindrances, how those hindrances can be overcome. Another C of effective team building is related with communication. As I told you that communication is the blood of all the organization. Lack of communication will definitely lead to misunderstanding, so it is always desirable that there is a proper flow of communication amongst all the members, proper ideas, views, suggestions are taken, all the information they are given to them at the right time for the purpose of decision making. Another C is all related with collaboration. Now, collaboration is basically people have to understand about the stages of our team building. If you remember, we talked about the forming stage, storming stage, norming stage, performing stage and adjourning stage. So people, they should know that okay, why they have been brought together, and they understand that they should understand that they have to work in a team and they have to communicate well with each other. They have to coordinate their efforts also. People have to take on the responsibilities and the kind of power that they have. If you remember the kind of resources that they would be exposed to, or what are their boundaries within which they are supposed to work. So all those things, they have to be crystal clear in the minds of the team player. Then creative innovation, the organization should be ready for the changes, it should be ready for new and unique solutions. So if team members are there who are coming out with their most creative ideas, so definitely they will be expecting some kind of appreciation, some kind of reward, some kind of recognition. So definitely that should be provided by the company, and people should be able to evaluate that to what an extent any new or creative idea, if they wish to implement, to what way they are going to be successful. So it is always desirable that new and creative thinking should be simulated with proper trainings, education and access to films and books to the people, so that people can actually become more creative and innovative in solving the problems or in taking the organization to the next level. Another C is consequences. Here it says that all the team members, they should be aware, or there should be some kind of self-awareness and the responsibility of the work that they work together, and it's just not the one person who has actually led the team, it is the collaborative effort of everyone. So if the rewards are given, so these rewards, they should be given to every member to make them feel happy and satisfied and motivated. And of course, we should know that as an organization, the rewards and reprimand system, they are falling in place. So people, they should know that in case if they are doing anything good, so what is the effect of it, and if people are doing anything bad, then what would be the effect of them. Another important C in the team building, it's all related with coordination. It says that all teams, they must be coordinated by a trusted central leader or a leadership team. Do they give the team what they need to succeed? So basically, if we talk about coordination, my dear friends, so coordination is what? It's just the blending of the efforts of everyone, or we are trying to orchestrate the efforts of each one of them who is a part of the team. So until unless if we do not have that kind of coordination, we will not be able to attain the objectives, or we will be far away from reaching what we are actually anticipating. So coordination, in this coordination, we have to have people who can actually blend the efforts of everyone, who can actually understand what kind of resources have to be allocated to people, what are the different priorities, or what would be the different outcomes, or even if there is a cross-functional teams of different departments also, how are they going to work together? Now this is a big challenge in organization. Cross-functional teams, people coming from different backgrounds, they are supposed to work in one team. So at times that can be challenge. But again, if you remember the stages of team building, so those stages can help us to make that team more cohesive one and more focused one in achieving their goals. So definitely it says that everyone's efforts, they have to be brought together, the priorities have to be set, the proper allocations have to be done, some kind of freedom has to be given to the people, the resources have to be given to the people, and of course they have to be coordinated. So now what we are actually coordinating is, again, we are trying to say that we are going to leverage the skills of each member. So once we are able to leverage the skills of each member, so naturally we will be able to get what we actually are chasing. So basically those were the 12 C's of effective team building. So ideally, if you are trying to be one of the team members, or if you are the leader who's trying to coordinate the team, if you remember all the 12 C's, I'm sure this is going to help you in a long way, that we need to have some kind of collaboration, we need to have some kind of clarity, we need to have some kind of coordination, the culture fit, the right person at the right place for the right kind of thing, and of course the skills of each one has to be leveraged. Or we can say, even if anyone is struggling, we can always help people. So in that case, you have to have a perfect knowledge about the stages of team building, which I discussed in my previous lecture. Now the slide that you see on the screen is again related with team building through communication. Though we have discussed C as a communication, we know that the communication, proper flow of communication right from the top to the bottom plays a pivotal role in making people feel happy and satisfied and trustworthy. Because once the communication is very clear, the concepts are clear, there is no misunderstandings, people are happy and satisfied, there are no frustrations, there is no irritation level. So definitely people will be giving their best of their shots. But this is something very important, why I thought of putting this slide on the screen, was that just to give you a feel that communication is the crux of the effective team building. So I hope by this time you understand that what is the meaning of team building. Team building is nothing but is just an ongoing process of creating a very cohesive team for the purpose of the shared goals. And as you can see, that team building through communication is very essential, because what we can say, it's a kind of a function of X, that is listening. So if you want that your team should be very effective, there should be some kind of active listening that has to be done in the team, because an idea and solution suggestion can come from anybody. Then if you want your team building to be effective, or if you want your team to be effective, asking question is important. That means clarity. People have to be very clear in terms of their roles, in terms of their policies, or in terms of resources that they are exposed to. Then it's like giving feedback. If you all remember, in the last video I talked about the constructive feedback also. People should be ready to understand or take feedback in a very positive manner, and it is always desirable, if you are working in a team, you are ready to give a very listening ear. So the feedback is given at the right time, in the right way, the clarity has to be there in terms of the feedback, and when it should be given. So naturally when it should be given, if it is a positive feedback, it can be given in front of everyone, but in case if it is a negative feedback, then it should always be given in the private. So people in the norming stage, if you all remember, people are ready to cooperate with each other. There's always a sense of feeling belongingness. There's a high level of energy. The trust levels are very high. So this is again important. Why? Because we are able to communicate with each other, and we are not having that feeling of jealousy, but we are having that feeling of collaboration. Then in our team building, effective meetings are required. Here, this effective meetings are required in order to dispel any doubts related to anything. So these doubts will only be dispelled when people are made to come, and the opportunities are given to people to discuss, to come out of their apprehensions, or in case if they have got any doubts, they can always clear it. So meetings are one of the best ways of communicating and making people feel important, and meetings can help us to dispel lot of doubts and the misunderstandings. And lastly, through communication, team building, it's very essential empowering others that, okay, we are giving a chance for others to also to show their talent, their skills, their knowledge, their abilities, or we can also utilize the experience of the other team members. Because in a team, it's not necessary that the team has to be of the people of the same level, same cadre. So as we talked about the cross-functional teams, they can be people from different departments, different faculties working together on a common project. So necessarily, it's not always true that they will be of the same age, same backgrounds. So naturally one has to work in the diversity, equality and inclusion DEI framework. So it is always desirable that we should always empower others and help people to come out of their problems, or we can in other words we say that we always help our struggling employees to come out or help them to reach the next level. So this is how communication is very, very essential in the case of team building. So my dear friends, that's all that I have for you in this lecture. I hope now you are very, very clear with the term team building. What is the meaning of team building? Who's a team player? Or what is the process? What are the different stages? And what are the symptoms of a poor team? Or what are the 12 effective C's that can be taken into consideration for a team to be effective? And we know that once we have a proper team, effective team, naturally all the 3 P's of the companies, they are not far away. That is the performance, productivity and your profitability. So every company is desiring for that. So be a good team player. Thank you so much for watching and stay tuned for the next one.